Stories about North Korea have always been a box office draw in South Korea. North Korea is still an unknown entity in South Korea. It's the closest thing to us, but we don't know much about it. Even if it's a little bit more known than it used to be, we still don't know much about how they live and so on. So maybe that's why there's a sense of mystery when it comes to North Korea. There's something more interesting than that. North Korea always has a male protagonist, almost always a soldier. Even though it's obviously male and female, it's always the opposite in dramas and movies. North Korea always has soldiers, so it's always men. In Korea, a popular male protagonist plays the role of a North Korean soldier. As a result, North Korean men are much more handsome than Korean men. No matter how you look at it, Korean men are much better looking than North Korean men. This ironic situation is always repeated whenever a movie about North Korea comes out. The movie Escape is the same, with Lee Jae-hoon as a North Korean soldier. But there are no South Koreans in the movie. It's all about a North Korean soldier trying to get back to South Korea. It's a movie made in South Korea. And it's about a North Korean soldier who crosses the border between North and South Korea. Kyunam, played by Lee Jae-hoon, has no expectations in North Korea. He's about to be discharged after serving in the military for 10 years. There's nothing he can do in North Korea, nothing he can say he wants to do, because he has no plans. If the party tells you to do something after you leave the army, you have to do it. Kyunam seems to have heard telegrams about South Korea on the radio. In the movie, there's a music camp by Bae Chol-soo, who's famous in South Korea. And there's also Yangwoo Bridge by Giant T. In the lyrics of the song, it says that his father was a taxi driver, which I didn't realize at first, but it makes sense. His father was a driver, and so was his mother during his military service. Kyunam prepared for the long journey down to South Korea in detail. Every day he simulates which routes he can take to get to South Korea. The problem is that there are mines everywhere. Every day he moves forward a little bit more to figure out where the mines are. Once he has all the routes figured out, all that's left to do is execute them. The day before the execution, heavy rain is predicted. The heavy rain changes the location of the mines we've identified, and before that happens, Kyunam decides to cross the border from north to south. This process unfolds at a fairly fast pace. This is where an unexpected character enters the picture. It's Dong Hyuk, played by Hong Sabin, whose mom and sister are currently down in South Korea, and it's all North Korean soldiers. But I think Hong Sabin has the most North Korean accent and the most North Korean soldier. The other actors have a sense of being South Korean to some extent. And I don't know if it's because they're acting a little bit stilted and a little bit like they're looking at the South. So, it's a little bit awkward for them to be so confident. Dong Hyuk notices something that Kyunam does every night. He wants him to come with him to South Korea to be with his mom. Kyunam plays it cool and says that's not going to happen, so Dong Hyuk takes matters into his own hands. Dong Hyuk tries to take a route that Kyunam has been planning for a long time. And it's not easy to find the right route in the middle of the night with a map. Kyunam tries to help him, but he fails. Kyunam is discovered before he can hide, and the two of them escape together. That's when the phenomenon acted out by Guchain to punish the deserting soldiers comes into play. And that's when the movie really gets going. Up until that point, it's a warm-up with Kyunam being the hero, trying to catch the escaped soldier, and the phenomenon dictating. It turns out that Hyunam and Kyunam knew each other when he was younger, and Hainan's father worked as a driver in Hainan's house. It seems that Hainan thought of Kyunam as his brother and tried to help him. Kyunam is about to be discharged from the army, and when he does, he will have to serve as a soldier again. Anseng tells him to do as he says because there is nothing he can do even if he is discharged from the army. Kyunam says that it is his fate, and it could be read as meaning that there is nothing he can do as he pleases. At first glance, I thought that was not bad in this situation. Kyunam already had no desire to be in North Korea. Moreover, He was only thinking about his route. He's only thinking about going down the route he made before the heavy rain came. And there's no way to get out of North Korea except by that route. From this point on, the movie is about Jeonnam trying to escape and the phenomenon that finds out and chases after him. Jeonnam's reason for wanting to go to South Korea is impressive: the freedom to fail. In a way, it's a freedom that's hard to have in North Korea. Failure is also a freedom. The freedom to fail and do it again. I don't think that's so easy in South Korea. The chase scene in the movie is quite fast-paced. Jeonnam doesn't give up and tries to get to Korea no matter what. His phenomenal ability to read maps is amazing, and he manages to find the trail. The movie is quite suspenseful, and the ending is a bit disappointing. It's a bit too dramatic, and I think it would have been more realistic if it was less dramatic. In the drama DP, Gooching chases a South Korean deserter, and in the movie Escape, he chases a North Korean deserter. It was a movie that I could watch in one sitting.